I want to take you through a couple of your songs and get the stories behind the songs. One being Mama's Broken Heart.
Yeah.
We talked about that in the verses game.
Yeah.
Take us into the writer's room and how that came about and where that idea came from.
So that was another song that was inspired by my mother, actually. I have a little sister who grew up in Texas like me, and it was very much a world of you present that everything is fine, even if everything is not fine.
Yes.
It's pretty common, especially for my generation, you know. And
I don't think it was just Texas.
No, it felt very Texas to me.
Yeah.
But I was listening to my sister tell me a story about my mother, and my mother telling me a story about my sister. I was in the middle.
Okay.
And it was about a breakup my sister was having.
Did they each know you were talking?
They were both calling me saying,
Okay.
you know, like, tell your sister to stop acting so crazy. And my sister was like, Mom doesn't even care that I'm going through this. And so I went in to write with Brandy Clark and Kacey Musgraves, and I just was sharing that with them, and they both just instantly were like, oh yeah, like we know this story. You know, they took off. They both had these experiences with sisters, with moms, and I had already told Brandy months before that I wanted to write a song that was Ain't Your Mama's Something. And we had written that down. I said, I don't know what it is. I think it's like Ain't Your Mama's Saturday Night, or this Ain't Your Mama's After Party, something. I just thought there was a cool idea in that. And she said, what if this is that song? Ain't Your Mama's, and I don't know how we came to Broken Heart, but Kacey really brought that thing home because she went home that night and did a garage band of this, what seemed like a super quirky song, and she made it sound so interesting and did all these hand claps, and she sent it to us the next morning. She had worked on it all night, and she sent it to Brandy and I was like, oh shit, like this is a song now. We've done something here.
Wow.
And ultimately it was going to be for Kacey's first record. And what happened was a publisher played it for Miranda Lambert out of turn. And
oh, they weren't supposed to.
No.
Oh.
And so Miranda and Kacey had a conversation. She said she would let Kacey sing on it if she let her record it, and it was a heartbreak for a while, and and then it became a big hit. It was hard for Kacey because she didn't want to let Brandy and I down. This was early days for me having hits, and Brandy hadn't had a big hit, and Kacey was like, I really want it for my record, but Miranda's a sure thing, and Kacey wasn't at that point. And so she graciously let Miranda record the song. We had a big hit with it. But what it also did was we then wrote Merry Go Round, Josh and her and I, to fill that space on the record.
I was going to say, did you go, okay, we'll give this to Miranda, but we'll write something else for you?
Yeah.
And Merry Go Round
came of that.
Comes from that. You win a Grammy.
Yeah. We were actually nominated against Mama's Broken Heart. So is that crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's great. I love stories like that.
I know. It was really nuts.
Yeah. Kacey's kind of like your golden ring, I guess.
She has been, as my kids say, my Grammy savior, because all of my Grammys have her name on them too.
Yes.
And they're like, boy, what would you do without Kacey?
That's hilarious. But that whole thing ties together because you're you're all over Middle of Nowhere, Kacey's newest album that just came out. Did you produce that as well?
I did not.
You did not.
No.
Okay, so you wrote a couple of songs. You wrote Dry Spell.
I did.
Which is out now.
Mm-hmm.
And
I wrote the Horses with Miranda and her, yeah.
Yes. So that brings them together. And that story about that is there was a fight between the two of them.
Well,
Did
that's where it
start
started.
from that? Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering because I never knew, not that I know everything, but I never knew there was a feud between the two of them.
And it was sort of, they hadn't spoken in years. They knew each other growing up. They grew up very close to each other in Texas.
Right.
And they knew each other from the different Opries and the circuit that all of us played in Texas.
Okay.
And, that happened right after Kacey came to town, and Miranda was a big star. And it got, some wires got crossed, and then Kacey's career took off, and they just didn't really communicate. And so it was, I don't know that it was such a feud as much as it was just a quiet.
Just not talking.
They just weren't talking.
Just didn't cross
paths. And they also had big lives,
Yes.
And then Kacey called me, and I remember right where I was standing because, truthfully, I think I manifested it to some degree. They're two of the best. They're the two best.
Yeah.
That's the truth. They're my favorites, and
both East Texas girls.
Yeah. And I was like, you too. Like I would always tell them, you should write with Kacey, and I would say you should write with Miranda. It was always like, okay. I mean, there was never really. It wasn't no.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. How would that ever happen?
They didn't run for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So Kacey says, I have this idea for a song. I want to send it to Miranda. What do you think she'll say? And she didn't want to feel stupid.
Yeah, of course.
Like it's just like asking someone on a date.
Right. She didn't want rejection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, honestly, I think she'll love it. And she did. She texted her the idea, and right away she came back with.
You're the peacemaker.
Yeah.
You're the Miranda Kacey peacemaker.
Honestly, it's a little bit. I mean, I do think it helped having me with them because I am friends with both of them, but I have to give Miranda credit because Kacey and I are very close. I mean, Kacey sang at my wedding. She was there when my kids were born.
Gotcha.
And when Kacey pitched the idea to her and they got on the phone, Kacey didn't want to force me into it. And so luckily Miranda said, I think we have to write this with Shane or he'll never forgive us. And
good.
I was like, you're right.
So take us into the room there. You're in the middle of them.
Yeah.
Take us into the writing room. How does Kacey had the idea, but how does it all develop?
It's going to sound less exciting if I tell you the truth about it. And that is because we had to do it really fast.
Oh, okay.
So we did it on Zoom. But we all three were in the Zoom room together.
Okay.
We have since been together. We all were down at Green Hall a few weeks ago when Kacey and Miranda debuted the song together on stage.
Oh,
so the
nice.
three of us got to be together that night.
Yes. Okay.
And hang out afterwards and, just go over everything and laugh about it. But the writing of the song was over Zoom. And it still was a little tricky, I'll be honest. I think more tricky because on Zoom a lot of times reactions are left to interpretation. It's screens get stuck. You don't know if someone likes what you're saying, and they're quiet. So I definitely felt like I was like, "That's great, Miranda. Kacey, what do you think? Kacey, did you like that, Miranda?" I thought that was awesome. So that's how I felt. I was like, I don't want this to go bad.
Oh my God, I love that. So is it safe to say now that Miranda and Kacey could go out together and have a drink together?
Oh, hell yeah. They did it.
They did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they did it after that.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And another song that I love that you wrote is Vice.
Yes.
That, I think, obviously came after the breakup of Miranda and Blake and the weight of These Wings. It was on that album.
It was.
And it was the first single out. I thought it was brilliant. And can you talk about that song and take us behind that song? Because I feel it was so underrated.
I agree with you. I think that song, I don't know if the timing, I don't know what happened with that song, but it's a song that through the years has turned into one that people want to ask me about. Mm-hmm. It's had longevity, and I know that Miranda considers it a big moment in her set, and that took a long time for people to sort of discover it, as that kind of song. I will say the process of that song was one of the most honest songwriting sessions I've ever been in, and that was the day that Josh Osborne and I first wrote with Miranda. Miranda had recorded some of my songs, but we had never written
with her.
And she came in to the room, and she was carrying an ice chest, a rollable ice chest. And
Vodka?
She had it all in there.
Okay.
And she goes, guys, I'm getting a divorce. And it's going to be publicly announced today. Oh. And I'm going to be drinking. And that was, the world was watching. And the fact that she showed up, I was like, this girl is the real deal.
That takes me.
I have always been a huge fan. I was a fan long before I knew her. Her first record, I couldn't play enough. And she lived up to every bit of being a true, I don't know, rock star. I mean, she's so good. I think the number of records she has made, I don't think anyone has had the consistency and the time that Miranda Lambert has. Right. She's still making records
she's still going,
as if they were the first record.
Yes.
She's inventive and she works hard. And that song that day was just proof of I'm willing to tell the truth about myself, even though everybody's watching. The next day it was on the cover of every magazine. And we didn't know. We didn't know till she said it. It hadn't been public. And, she was like, I remember I said one line, I said, what about the line, with shoes and, with shoes in my hand, like walk of shame? I said, you won't say that. And she goes, oh yeah, I will.
Good for her.
And I was like, but I feel like it'll never get to be a single if you say that. She's like, well, we have to say it. I mean, that we can't not do it because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think some of those lyrics did hurt it in the commercial world.
That could be. Is that something you think about in the writer's room?
Well, not enough, clearly.
Are they?
I don't like to.
Yeah.
I want to say it the way it is. But of course, I mean, this has been my living.
Yeah.
So if a song's going to not have a shot at all commercially because of one line, maybe we can think of something else,
Yeah.